I always follow them on Instagram. I always go, hand me your phone. Let me follow you on Instagram.
Yep.
It's very easy for me to DM them. Why? I have their name. I have all their photos. It's easier than an email or phone number where you have to, if you're a realtor, you put into the tags, oh, they have a dog and 2 kids.
Right.
Based on their Instagram, I already know that.
Hello and welcome to /Real Estate. I'm Chris, your host. We are live at the Real Growth Summit in Richardson, Texas. So recording from the stage here, and I have a guest that some of you might recognize. I think we're only going to use your first name for the moment.
That's okay.
Just Nora, right? So introduce us a little bit, and we're going to talk through being a new agent as well as social media, Post-NAR world. I think this is going to be a good one.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
So I'm Nora,
Yep.
and I have a really unique, where I am in the real estate industry is really
Yes.
unique. So I've come into the industry post-NAR, and I was also, I want to say, born into the industry.
That's
My
right.
family owns a brokerage. It's very family orientated, and so I've been around this industry my whole life.
Right.
I've talked about it before, but after school was getting picked up and we were painting things for the office, and my dad does a lot of life coaching, real estate coaching. So I grew up with a lot of values that people learn later in life, which has helped me greatly, and there's no gaps in my real estate career where I wasn't sure what I was doing. I actually live with a life coach for real estate, which is really crazy and something I'm grateful for.
Did you think about doing something other than real estate, or did you just want to do this, or what was that thought process like?
So a part of me always wanted to
Yeah.
do it. I think the freedom of real estate is, I am Gen Z, and I obviously love the look of social media.
Yeah.
And so I knew with real estate you can do social media. You get to be your own brand, which is something so unique. I always liked marketing, but I didn't want to give up who I was. It might be vain to say I wanted to build my own self. So real
Right.
estate gives me that path while still being able to follow structure. And that's posting real estate stuff and sharing my experiences, which is something I'm doing today. There was a part of me though that wanted to rebel, so I went to college for a year. I'm 20, and I realized that I went just because everyone else was going.
Yep.
I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was
Yeah.
going for a business degree, which isn't very specific. So I left for a year. I did some surveying just to see what the real world's like, what it's like to talk to people, and
Yep.
I realized I wanted to do something a little bigger, and I had a lot of dreams that I wanted to accomplish.
Right. Okay. So if people aren't like catching the vibe, you're actually a you're the first second generation guest that we've had
Yeah, very
on the show,
exciting,
because
yeah.
regular viewers do actually know your dad, which I still think we're not going to say any names here, and people can just like in the comments go,
Let's
say
start guessing. Let's start
Yeah,
guessing.
Let's start
Yeah.
guessing, right? We can just keep dropping hints, but like not actually say it. So
At one
leave.
point, we'll confirm the theories, but I want to see them first.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. So how long exactly have you been in real estate?
I would say I became a realtor 8 months ago.
Okay.
So that, as an actual licensed real estate agent, it's been about 8 months.
Okay. And day one, what were you doing?
Day one, I was overwhelmed.
Okay.
I thought that I was going to wear really cute outfits and run around town selling houses. It's not as glamorous.
Right. I've
as
seen
I
that on
thought.
Netflix.
Yeah, I've seen it on Netflix too,
Yeah.
and I was surprised when I didn't get invited to a cocktail party right away.
That doesn't happen?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
So I was super overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. People were being mean. I
Yep.
had no schedule. Suddenly I went from being in school, having shifts at work. Now I'm my own boss as,
Yeah.
an independent contractor. So I was very overwhelmed. And that's what I've spent the last 8 months figuring out, how to find my footing and confidence in this industry.
You're just like straight in the deep end, making calls. You're saying people are being mean. Like talk to us about we're always harping on like call your leads.
Yeah.
So it sounds like that's what you were doing. You were calling the leads.
Yeah, I was calling my leads.
Yeah. So walk us through what was happening in that process.
So I was calling my leads, and I was really
Yep.
scared too. Even with a family that's been doing this forever,
Right.
and I've seen it happen, I felt like I didn't know what to do.
Right.
I always crutch on it, but I haven't owned a house.
Okay.
And I've recently become an adult. So I was
Yep.
freaking out. Are people going to take me seriously?
Yep.
Are they going to ask me crazy questions that I don't know the answers
Yep.
to? Why do they even want to talk to me? Why are they talking to a stranger on the phone? Well, I asked all these questions. My dad said, just do it. I don't know why you're still talking to me. Just go do it and figure it out yourself.
Right.
So I just go do it, and you quickly realize no one's asking you these crazy questions that you're thinking about. And when someone's having a bad day on the phone, I call them again. And I call them again the next day, and usually they forget that they were mean to me. So
Okay.
I think that's one thing I would share is just you take it so personally, and to them, you're just a stranger.
Yeah.
I have to think about it a lot of, if I was on a website looking to buy a home, I'm not going to be mad if someone calls me about it.
That's like a compound tip, right? Because on one hand, they submitted a lead, they want to talk to someone.
Yeah.
But I think the other thing that you said there is also awesome, where it's like, you know, they might just be having a bad day and that's why they were mean. Like them being mean, that's on them, not on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's so hard. I'm not going to act like I'm immune to it. It hit me really hard the first few times people were mean to me. I think now I just laugh at it, and I don't know if this is right or wrong. It might just be the youngness in me, but I kind of challenge it.
Right.
I'm like, well, you're on my website. Or, someone will say something kind of snarky, and I kill them with kindness, which is so silly to say, but it's true. And they're speechless always at the end. They don't know what to say because they're kind of expecting you to back off, and I don't.
Yeah. Okay. So earlier you were on stage and you were talking about a thing called a Bix.
Yes,
Bix?
a BIC. So
yeah. All right. So walk us through what is this thing?
Yeah. So a BIC, to explain it how I would an actual client, a BIC is a Buyer Initial Consultation. BIC BIC. The Buyer Initial Consultation is the first time I ever meet with them.
Okay.
On the phone, how I hook them with it is I invite them in and I say, I'm going to teach you about the first time home buying process, all the steps, A to Z. And that's exactly
And are you talking
what
to a
it
lot
is.
of like first time home buyers? Are you establishing that early on? Like what's
Yes. So I prefer first time home buyers from where I am.
Yeah.
And I think that has to do a lot with everyone tells you as a real estate agent, specialize.
Yeah.
I've chosen first time home buyers over lakefront or high end, things like that. For me, it's the most approachable because I'm younger and I find it's easy for me to tell people I have a ton of energy towards that and I want to help you with your first time home buyer. So I hook them with that. Then I hook them with, now let me explain all the steps A to Z for you. People want information. They don't know where to go. You look it up on Google, you get 1,000 links. I tell them, come on in, we'll sit together. It'll take us about an hour and I'll go through everything and I'm here to answer your questions live.
Yeah, and so for the audience, if you scroll down into the comments or into the description, we'll probably have links to all of this because the document itself was extremely comprehensive, right?
Yeah.
And okay, so pounding the phones, you're getting into these conversations which sound almost like a listing presentation, right? But it's a buyer presentation. And then you've got to deal with the whole new NAR world, right?
Yes.
So like, please sign this buyer agreement.
So how that's been going for me is I think it's a lot different than everyone else. Why? Because I came into real estate post-NAR.
Right.
This is normal to me.
Yes.
Another thing about my brokerage
I love this already because it's like we're already adapting to this new world. It's like I don't understand a world that's different.
This has been my day one.
Right.
I'm so used to this.
Yeah.
And so the way that I do it is, I'll say it again, I really think everyone should invest their time and energy into learning this buyer initial consultation.
Yeah.
I have so much confidence in my systems,
Yep.
and it's how I've seen so much success in 8 months of being a real estate agent, how I feel confident sitting here today with you and talking about it. I go through that BIC with them, as I like to say, and at the end, I don't talk about my commissions, I don't talk about NAR or anything. I want the focus to be on them. It's on them, it's on you. I answer your questions about home buying. NAR has nothing to do with home buying. That's not what it is. So it's all about them. At the end, they're so comfortable with me that I have 100% conversion because we spent this time and I ask, are you comfortable working with me?
100% conversion from giving this presentation to them signing a buyer agreement.
Yes.
Yeah.
And please go look at it down below. I'll share it with
Yep.
you. Pay attention to that right-hand corner. There's 3 circles, something like your negotiator, your strategist, your overseer, ambassador. I say those things, I reiterate it to them.
Yep.
It's a very quick snippet of what I just told them. And then I end it with, I always say, would you be comfortable working with a real estate agent like me? they always say yes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want you to be the fluke that doesn't say yes, but they've always said yes to me. The reason is I've built so much rapport with them in the last hour. It's wild to say no. They've also been sitting there. They want to go home.
Yep.
So they say yes, and then we spend some more time on them. That's when I fill out the contracts with them. I go over the NAR and what the commission is going to be and everything, but by then they're so confident in me, and they trust me as their agent to help them out in this process that I've never had any trouble with it so far.
That's awesome. It's just mind-blowing that, there's so many people that are so wrapped around the axle on like, there's a change to the industry, there's a change to the thing I have to do. They're in their heads about, this is one more thing that I've got to put in front of like the conversion, which is a roadblock that leads to my sale.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is a speed bump for me. I'm not even.
So I guess I'm sitting here today saying I've always had people sign buyer agency. There's never been a time I haven't. And then sitting here with 100% conversion so far, it's never been an issue for me.
So if it's, from your perspective as a brand new agent, like if getting people to sign the buyer agreement is not the hardest part, like what is the hardest part?
For me, the hardest part, just with clients.
Yeah.
I guess the hardest part for me meeting new clients is just, oh my gosh, I don't know. Things have been going really smoothly.
Well, that'll change.
Hopefully, yeah. I guess I have such a system about it.
Yeah.
I think the hardest thing for me would be actually getting them to come back.
Yeah,
I think a lot of the time, I don't know if this is something for everyone, but a lot of the time I sign them and then they disappear. They're gone with the wind. I don't know where they went.
Okay.
That's one of the things I think I need to work on.
So it could potentially be like one of those fake yeses where they're like, yeah, definitely.
I think they get it romanticized.
Yep.
I've just explained how easy it is to buy a home and how it's so realistic. And, my biggest tip would be I never say I'm a real estate agent to them. I always say I help people build generational wealth.
I like that.
And I want people to write that down because I'll look right at the camera. I help people build generational wealth. It is the biggest game changer along with the BIC. So I say that, and then I think people get so in love with the idea of, they have a home for their family now and their kids and things like that, or they can, buy this home and sell it. Everyone always says yes because they fall in love with that. And then the part I'm working on now is making sure that I keep helping them make the right steps, even if it's years down the future, to buy that home.
Right. I want to transition a little bit because, we've heard about you being a new agent, and it's so clear, talking to you that like you've absorbed so much of like the expertise that your parents have. Right. But the other thing that was really clear talking to you is that you want to have your own brand and that like you want to be part of the family business, but you want to be your own person.
Yes.
And I want you to talk a little bit about that. Like what actual things are you doing to make that a reality? And like, are you going to like someday fly under your own banner? Or are you going to use the family, branding, but just be your own person?
Yeah.
Like how are you thinking about this right now?
So that's a loaded question. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Do we need to look around and see if there's?
Yeah, that's a crazy question. Thank you for that. I think right now, a lot of people know marketing. It can take years for you to build that brand and be notable and everything. So right now, the biggest thing I'm working on, and I've gotten questions on this, have you gotten leads and listings from posting on social media and working on your own?
I was getting that.
Yeah. So I kind of snuck it ahead. And working on your own stuff. The answer is no, I haven't yet. I have only been doing this 8 months. What I'll say is more important to me right now is building myself as a celebrity in my own community. Meaning that when I go to events, brokers opens, golfing, even when I went to this summit, I have agents running up to me saying, oh my gosh, I love watching your stuff. I just saw that you were in Fort Worth yesterday. Or I watched your first Brokers Open. How did it go? Or is your listing still up? Things like that. And that to me is more valuable right now as a new agent. Getting my name out there within the community and people seeing what I'm doing. The listings will come later.
Absolutely.
And that's more work. That takes, I think, years to build a notable brand enough in your community that people are choosing you just based on your Instagram. I also don't think we're there yet when it comes to technology and media.
Yeah, so I want to like dig at this a little bit more because I mean I'm the marketing guy at Real Geeks, and so like you're saying all the things that have me interested.
Okay.
You know, like branding, like social media.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Like when you think about what you want your brand to represent, because it sounds like you've thought about this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you want that to be presented to the world?
Yeah, so that's something I struggle with every day, if I'm being honest. I struggle between wanting to be the professional realtor and then wanting to be the 20-year-old girl who wants to show my outfit.
Yeah.
And it's a really wild in between to be in. I'm walking on a line right now.
Yep.
Where I want, my older clients to see me as very educated and very smart, and I'm posting my open houses.
Yep.
And then I also want to make sure that people still realize that, oh my gosh, look at my coffee, and
Yep.
look how amazing these shoes are, things like that. Or that, for my family and friends, I did just go to Fort Worth. Look how cool it was.
Right.
So I'm trying to build right now something really unique that I haven't seen a lot of people master yet.
Okay.
And so because I haven't seen anyone master it the way I want it, it's very new. I can't tell you how I'm trying to do it. I'm trying to build something where it's very personalized, and yet you still know I do real estate to an excellent level.
So do you have separate personal and professional accounts? And also talk to us about like which platforms you do divide it up that way.
Yeah. So first off, any platform you look on, you will find me. I'm on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everything. I always have
Probably
been.
shout out all those IDs right now.
Oh, okay. It's always Nora Schneider.
Okay,
It's always
there we go.
Nora Schneider. Yeah. So it'll all be
Yep.
down below too. I'm just going to say it right now.
Exactly.
So anyways, so I do have a personal and a business.
Yeah.
And when I first started as a realtor, I was like, I'm going to do personal. I'm just going to do personal. I realized really quickly, I felt so embarrassed, maybe is the word, to post my day in my life and look at all the cool stuff I'm doing. Because I kept thinking about all my family and friends who don't want to see me be a realtor every day. They don't care.
Yep.
And I started losing some followers from that, just on kids from school and stuff.
Right.
So then I built my business account. And then I realized it's really hard to keep those two worlds together.
Yes.
I'm posting on my main, and I'm posting my vacations and my coffee and things like that. And then I'm posting on my business, purely business. So right now I'm actually using just my personal.
Okay.
I think the bigger question is, though, that I always struggle with is it even worth having a business account if you post on it once a week? What is the purpose of that? And I think that's something right now that I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and so I've thought about this a little bit.
Yeah.
Right, from different angles, and I do feel like maybe the right answer is some level of integration between the two of them, because you are a interesting person. I'm speaking generally, not you are, but
Thank
like
you.
I mean the audience as well. Like you're interesting people, right? And you have interests and hobbies outside of work, but also, you spend a lot of your waking hours thinking about your profession. And so it is an interesting thing to thread. Maybe a question that I have that might lead you down one of the paths that I've been thinking about this is, like, when you're thinking about like success on these social channels, like, what is it? Are you chasing a KPI, or are you chasing a vibe, or like, mentions at a show, or like, what does success look like?
For me, success, I think, would be that my name is a brand. I don't know if that's an answer, but I hope that in the future, in the next couple of years, I can build it so that when my name is mentioned, you picture things. You picture real estate. You picture lifestyle. I don't know if this is a clue. You picture green. That's my brand color. So I try to incorporate everything together. I want you to think of me and immediately think of my really cute dog. And then I also do real estate. In my area, my location, I'm in love with my city. That I never want to leave it. I love it. And things like that, that's what I'm chasing right now, is that my name holds significance more than just, John Doe. Who is that?
I think, one of the things that I found interesting on my social media experiments is almost more than the likes that I get on posts has been the the messages that I get in response, like the
Yes.
direct messages that I get in response to things. Because for whatever reason, people are like, it's like they maybe don't want to click the like button, or maybe they don't want to leave a public comment, but then it's like there are some things I'll post and they'll just be like, it'll light up the DMs, and I find that like very interesting. So I'm guessing.
Yes, that happens to me, and
Okay.
I mean, I talk to people about that all the time. I'll be honest, I put a lot of work into my videos and posts. I'll get 4 likes, 5 likes. I mean, more than that, but maybe a comment from my mom, I don't know, but just keeping it real. The amount of DMs I get, though, is crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of when I go to these networking events and they reference something in a video that I posted, and it was dead in the middle of the 8-minute video, but they never liked it and they never commented on it, and I felt like no
but
one
you
was
watched
watching
8 minutes of it, clearly.
But you watched 8 minutes of it, and then you're going to talk to me about a scene that happened in it. So that's such a light bulb moment to me to keep going. And to not focus on the followers and the like amounts, because what I'm chasing isn't followers and ads and things like that. I don't want to influence like that or something. I'm really trying to chase my name meaning something to someone and them registering who I am. And hopefully a feeling that invokes in them.
When you're at a networking event, are you saying, hey, let's connect on Instagram, or let's connect on TikTok, or let's connect on, or are you like, here's my phone number, text me, or like call me next week? Like,
so
where do you try and steer people?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is like radical to say. I'm not a business card person. When someone gives me the business cards, it's hard for me to connect the dots because my whole life has been social media. I mean, I got my Instagram in 3rd grade, so I've grown up on the internet, and that was something very normal from all of the people my age. So I always follow them on Instagram. I always go, hand me your phone, let me follow you on Instagram. It's very easy for me to DM them. Why? I have their name, I have all their photos. It's easier than an email or phone number where you have to, if you're a realtor, you put into the tags, oh, they have a dog and 2 kids. Based on their Instagram, I already know that. And so I think, I don't know if it's radical to say, I think in the future that it might be doing away with that.
I would say this matches like my experience, because I think I'm in this in-between generation between like sort of the old school and like I'm an elder millennial, right? So the like I was there, I got the intro to business, which is like, oh, so this is the Rolodex, like the people that you're going to call, type experience. But now I have also experienced the rise of social media, and so I've very actively in the last couple of months reoriented so that when I'm live at a networking event, if it's more personal feeling, then I direct them to Instagram and we start talking on Instagram. And if it's more professional feeling, I direct them towards LinkedIn and we start talking there.
Now, do you feel like there's different age ranges in those different settings or no?
There can be, and we haven't talked about Facebook yet, right?
Yeah, Facebook that's something I'm learning,
but to finish the thought, like there can be definitely like an older crowd on LinkedIn, but there's also like, a lot of times if you're talking to startups or you're talking to people that it's a sort of a strictly professional setting, like they'll naturally lean towards LinkedIn. But
so if we want to talk about LinkedIn for a second, I have an account. I've actually never been on it. So I know that might be crazy to say too.
Producer Sean's going nuts in the background because he is very anti-LinkedIn. Well,
Me and producer Sean get along on a lot of like ideas. So anyways, I have a LinkedIn account. My brokerage makes us create all the accounts when we start, and I have the account. I've never been on it. And even my friends who are my age think that's crazy. They go, don't use LinkedIn. I don't see it. I see it dying very quickly. I feel like Instagram replaces that, and Facebook could too as well, but I connect with so many people on social media.
Yeah, so I would say that my perspective on this, and again, I'm like, I'm a marketing guy at a SaaS business, right? Not a real estate agent. I just really enjoy talking to you guys. But I would say that for big components of the corporate world, it is replaced resumes. So for all of your white collar workers out there, their LinkedIn is probably more important than the actual resume that they would submit with a job application. And I have had employers say, oh, we don't look at the documents that people send. We just look at the LinkedIn. And like that's and if you think about it, it's like it's unified data. It's like
Yeah.
you know it's all looks the same on every page, and so you can like if you're a recruiter, you can like quickly scan that and digest the information. Okay, so having said all that, it's great for like if you're an engineer and you're looking for an engineering
Yeah, so
job.
apparently if
Right.
you're another job
Right.
listening to this, don't listen to me. I'm
Yeah.
a realtor. What do
But
know?
I think
Yeah.
you know the takeaway for realtors is I probably wouldn't go prospecting on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You know,
And I can say just from having a family who runs a brokerage, and I've been around that for the last 10 years now, when my mom is hiring someone new, I don't think she's looking at LinkedIn. She looks at Instagram. She's trying to see who it is.
Right.
You know, she's looking at their Facebook, their Instagram, and what comes up when you look at
Yeah.
them on Google. And I think that's what everyone knows when you're getting hired, but I don't think LinkedIn is popular for real estate, at least when it comes to getting hired.
Yeah.
It's more so, who are you?
Yeah.
What are you adding to the
Yeah.
team that way?
There's so many avenues to drill down here, and like I
I
don't
know,
wanna,
we'll have to sit down again.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to do this again. But one of the other things that we had a side conversation out in the trade show hall was like your approach to posting,
Yeah.
and you know compared to like the way like I guess it's the old guy now thinking about like
Yeah.
you know creating you know marketing assets and posting them,
Yeah.
and you've got like a totally different approach.
Yeah.
So, I mean, walk us through, you know, like when you're thinking about posting on social media, like what's that whole process look like?
So something you learn about me very quickly is I have very stubborn opinions on things.
Okay.
So I make these opinions and I stick to them. I just stick to them. So I believe every social media has something that it's really great for. And that's why I don't see, I know Facebook is buying
Yep.
every platform now, but I still think every platform will exist for different reasons.
Yeah.
So I believe Instagram is great for photos and, you know, really short reel. Stories is everything on Instagram to me.
Yeah.
That's where I look at stories. I think that TikTok is awesome if you're trying to gain followers fast. That's the quickest I think you're ever going to find followers. And it's quick to go viral and make those short videos. And then YouTube is amazing for long videos.
Yeah.
Now, Facebook, we can talk about my Facebook fluency because as a 20-year-old, I've been struggling. I feel
Okay.
like my grandma right now. So I've been trying to become Facebook fluent. I've been leaning on my mom and my grandma. I'm trying to figure it out right now. And I think Facebook's awesome for connecting with, I guess, the age range that's actually buying homes right now.
Yeah.
So it's something I've been putting a lot of energy into, posting regularly, checking my comments and things like that. And the most interesting thing I found is because young people don't use Facebook, when I post something, it goes crazy on Facebook. I think it's because the age range for Facebook doesn't see content like mine that much. I don't know if that's right or not, but I post a lot of just what I would call a photo dump on Instagram. I post that on Facebook, which isn't as common. It's usually just, you know, someone's kids at the pumpkin patch and it's 8 of the same photo.
Yep.
I'm posting a lot of photos from a week or a month, and I post those and I just get so much interaction from it. It's wild. Yeah.
And the people that are interacting with that are like your peers in your sphere?
Not my
or?
age range, no.
No, okay. Outside.
So my age range isn't on Facebook, which is the crazy
Yeah.
thing. So maybe it gives me a little more
Yeah.
freedom because no
Yep.
one I know is looking at it. However, no, it's all older people, and I think it's reinventing. It's almost like reinventing the wheel. This is already happening
Right.
on Instagram. This is probably happened on TikTok 2 weeks ago, right?
Yep.
Everything has a different. I was even joking about it on the side that I think everything I've watched on TikTok, I know my friends on Reels are going to see 2 weeks later. So there's a
Okay, so I want to
Yeah.
I want to pull the thread on this, right? Because I in my own social media use, like, you know, it's funny because like the friends and acquaintances and professional contacts, you know, will sometimes be confused because they're either seeing something and they're like, oh, really cool that you were there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that was 2 weeks ago, you know, or like, oh, hey, dude, like that was like I'm in that photo, but that's not now, and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm like sort of time shifting, you know, it's like I want to. In my mind, what I'm doing is I'm like trying to be a little bit more intentional about what I'm posting and editing.
Yeah.
But like,
so do you follow an aesthetic, by the way? Do you? Because
no,
that's what I do
no,
too.
no, because
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm not creative like that, right?
Okay.
I wish that I was. I aspire
No,
to
I was
that.
wondering because I know some.
Yeah.
I do that where I can't post like I can't post a selfie 2 in a row. I can't
Right.
like I do a photo of me, photo with friends, photo with me,
Right.
which is a whole nother thing.
But like, what's the interval between the photo being taken and the thing getting posted? Like, hours,
Explain that a little
minutes?
more.
Like,
Oh,
how fast?
immediately.
Immediately.
So stories, I find I try to give this tip to a lot of other
Yep.
realtors. I post it immediately. If I'm drinking the coffee, I take the photo. I never take it on the apps. I always take it camera roll, and then I go and I pick my favorite
That was
one.
going to be my next question.
Yeah, so I always take my photos on camera roll. And if I can, I'll take a video
Yep.
too. I have so many 2-second video segments everywhere that I like to collage together way later in the process. By having all of that media just
Yep.
stored in your photos, it's so resourceful. I mean, it's priceless to have that much media of yourself. To just
Becomes
pull.
B-roll later.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, I'll be sitting on my couch. I feel like I haven't done anything cool in real estate in a week.
Yep.
And I need something to post because that's the illusion I give.
Right.
If you look at my social media, it looks like every day I'm doing something awesome. Most of the time I'm just answering calls and I'm sitting at the office waiting for something to happen. But if you look at my social media, it looks like I'm constantly on the go. I'm constantly putting together closing gift baskets. I'm talking at cool seminars and things. I hype everything up, and that's why people think
Are
I'm
you
so
saying
busy.
that social media is not real life?
I don't want to break the illusion for you, but yes.
Oh, okay.
I know. But my social media
Yeah.
is real life. So, yeah, to my clients and to my family and friends.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah, you guys can know the real secret.
All right, so it depends, it sounds like. So stories on Instagram are probably what's happening right then.
Yes.
But a post is probably something that's a little bit more curated and
Yes.
thought out.
Posts, Instagram stories, they disappear after 24 hours. I just post it and I let it go.
Right.
We also could do a whole segment on the different types of Instagram stories.
Yeah.
But I post it, let it go. When I post an actual post, that I give a lot of thought to. I like to see how to line up on my feed. When I look at someone's profile, it doesn't matter what app it is, I can tell when they've put time and energy into it based on how cohesive it is. And it doesn't mean that it has the same type of font. It doesn't mean that it has the same filter. What it means is that it's almost like, it's a selfie, then it's always like a photo of nature, and then it's a photo with friends. You're able to subconsciously see those things, and it looks more put together.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds a little crazy, but you're able to subconsciously do that, and so when you take the time to look at it, you'll notice.
Right, and I think that, maybe Instagram even has pushed this idea into the space where it's like the stories are a little bit more authentic.
Yes.
And it is interesting to talk to people about this because you'll hear people putting a lot of weight on like being authentic, but then if you look at a lot of like successful people on Instagrams, like maybe we could just at this point call it a front page.
Yeah.
It's highly curated.
Yeah, I
right?
like that front page.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is.
Yeah.
It's what you're putting out there. I
Right.
mean, what is that book thing? You look at the book cover, not the title, right? The book cover, not what's actually in there.
I think you're not supposed to do that. Like, don't
Yeah,
judge
you're
a
not
book.
supposed to.
But yeah, I mean that's.
I
what
hope
people
you guys are getting more out of
Yeah.
it. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. You want a really pretty cover.
Yeah.
And that's.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
People buy into that, definitely.
Right,
So.
because we're trying to sell books here.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, we are definitely going to have you back and go down in the comments and vote on who you think she's related to
I want
here.
to see the craziest conspiracy theories. Yeah.
Right, right, exactly. So this has been awesome. And
Yeah,
I can't
thank
wait
you
to have
so
you back.
much.
We're going to talk more about detailed Instagram posts, and then just
We
as
gotta come
you
up with topics and keep it a little more tight.
Right, yeah, exactly. This one was a target of opportunity.
Yeah.
Because we're like, and it was like, honestly, it was really cool to see you here.
Yeah, thank you.
And because, again, if you go back and watch the other episodes from your dad, he mentions you.
Really?
And
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and so now people are gonna start to see the backstory coming
yeah.
together. So, Actually, the other final note here on the way out,
Yeah.
right? Like and subscribe. But this whole thing is an experiment a little bit with, kind of the podcasting and social media. So if you're seeing it, the experiment worked. We're shooting it on an array of iPhones with some DJI mics. So hopefully it looks awesome and you can do the same thing.
Yeah, you guys got to post a little behind the scenes of this. I hope we're getting it.
Right.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Cool.
thank you so much
Yeah.
for having me on.
Thanks
I
for having us.
appreciate
All right,
it.
go
Yeah.
down in the comments, follow her, and we'll have you back soon.
Thank you so much.
See ya.